This is Reset Stories podcast Backstage, the full conversations with people who changed their lives. We start with a super big question: who you are and what you do right now.
Well, I'm Joyce. I'm from Colombia. I'm 41 years old. Since 7 years old, I've been living in Barcelona, Spain. Basically, I live in Sant Pol de Mar, which is a small village, seaside village, very small. And I work in the culinary school as a teacher. I'm a professor there. As well, I'm the chef de partie in the meat station.
What does it
It's
mean?
the chief of the meat station.
Was that what you were doing also in Colombia, or?
No, I was working for like around 20 years for Evergreen Line, which is a Taiwanese very big multinational company that transport containers. I was the customer service director for a long, long time. But then I decided to change my life because even that I have like a very high position as a director in the company, I was feeling sad in some point on my 30s, like emptiness. So I started to ask questions to myself. If I was like in some point fulfilling all what in my culture that people think what is a successful woman. I was married, I was a professional, I had a home, I had a very interesting career, professional career, but I was not feeling good with that. I was not happy in that moment, despite fulfilling all those social standards. So then I try to find inside myself what makes me feel good. And I discovered that I was feeling myself when I was cooking at home for me and for my husband in that moment. Then, at some point, I decided to start studying kitchen as a professional. So I was doing my job in the day, and I took a professional course in kitchen during the afternoon. But then I finished my studies, and I get back full time to my job, and I start feeling again that sadness, that sensation that I was not fully inside, that I was not feeling happy with myself. So in that moment, I decided that I have to quit. I have to definitely change my life. Did was to take like master in culinary arts here in Sant Pol. It was for 8 months. I will come to study for 8 months and then I will get back to Colombia. But then when I arrived here, it's like I discovered that I had win and I forget to fly. My master, it was like really nice. I was feeling so full, happy. I was 1 year working in El Celler de Can Roca, which is a 3 Michelin star restaurant. It's one of the most important restaurants in Catalonia, in Spain. And then the school where I did, the place where I did my master's, Sant Pol Culinary School, called me to work as a teacher. And I myself in a both phase. One is teaching, that is something that I really, really like. And I think in that moment of my life, this is the part of my life that is more special for me. It's like the part that makes me feel really great. Also, I am teaching culinary, so which is my passion. So I find a combination that makes me feel super good, and this is how I change my life. The process is not like as beautiful as I describe it now. This is like a summarize of the good part. Was not like a straight way. It was very difficult because first I have to deal with myself and with my culture, with my belief of what a successful life is. Okay, because I quit my office work, my director position. I never had a luxury life, but I had in before a comfortable life in terms of material things. Right now, it's like a better life in terms of time, happiness, peace, and also because in the process I also get divorced because I found that I was here and I don't want to get back. And in the beginning, my ex-husband wants to come here, but then I realized that even me or him was able to quit today the life that we get in that moment. So we have to take a decision that it was not easy in that moment. Uh, and as well, it's not easy as an immigrant to be because you have to adapt it to the change of culture. Also, I live in Catalonia. People here speak Spanish, but in the place where I live, they mainly speak Catalan. So I need to learn to understand a new language, different culture, different food that I'm learning and cooking.
You said it's not, my story, this is my story, but it's not as pretty as it sounds. There
Yeah.
are there are sacrifice, and this is what I am more interested in, the what I call the Instagrammable life, the life of, oh, look at me, I am in my dream job, or in this fabulous place, and I'm doing what I love. But the sacrifices that it takes, and the courage, and the fear of unexpected, and the maybe initially also the loneliness, and the sort of like, I imagine, an identity crisis in facing your new life,
Yep.
which you loved, right? You loved your new work, but was there ever a moment when you said, oh my God, I made an enormous mistake through these choices, leaving your country, eventually leaving your husband, and relocating in a new place? If you ever had a moment in which you thought you made a mistake,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. In some moment, I was asking myself if I made a mistake. And also, I have to deal with a lot of things. I mean, because I was comparing my life before and my life now all the time. When you change your country, basically, there's one point on when you are not from here, from the place where you decided to live, but also you are not from the place that you did not belongs anymore to that place. So you feel from nowhere. I have to accept that I'm that person. I'm the person. I don't belong here, but I don't belong to my country anymore. So I have to deal with the idea that I am what I am, and I have to accept it. And I quick to the idea to try to put myself in one place. So I accept that I'm the result of my decisions, and that's okay. And accept the idea that that's beautiful, even my accents, my words. So sometimes I cannot remember like expressions or words that I use in my Spanish in Colombia. You are a new person right now. And also you have to deal with the nostalgia is the name.
Oh,
Yeah.
nostalgia. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And one things that I have to do was to kill my nostalgia. I killed the nostalgia in some point. I decided to kill that feeling inside myself, to quit to that feeling, because nostalgia is for me is like a sneaky emotion, because nostalgia always makes you to remind the good things that you have, but never brings you the things that you didn't like. That's what I decided. I have to quit to my nostalgia. I have to stop to remind the things that I like from my country or from my previous life and start loving the part of the life that I choose. That definitely was better in terms of my spirituality, because I start living a slow life because I have time for myself. Now I have time to walk on the beach. I live in 3 blocks from the beach. I'm lucky because if I walk 3 blocks, I'm on the beach right now. But in some point, I have to deal with that part, and I find myself that I could not recognize myself. I accept that I will never belong to this place, but I will never belong to my country anymore, to my place of birth. So that's something that I have to deal with, and I have to accept, and I have to love the version that I am now, and to accept that I do not belong to any place anymore. Okay, I feel good right now here, and I decided to stay, and this is my paradise in some point, but it's not my place. And right now, I'm happy with that idea, but it was not too easy to accept that change.
What you said is so wise. I struggle with nostalgia to this day. I love the fact that you were cold turkey. You went like you decided that you didn't want to deal with nostalgia anymore, and you kind of squash it. Like it makes me think of the image of Saint George and the dragon. You know, the
Yeah, that's exactly.
killing.
It's like you have to kill the snake. Like for me, nostalgia is like it's a tricky emotion. You have to kill them, kill it, because in some point is there every day trying to bring to yourself all the good things, all the things that you miss, and it's like going around every day. This is what you have. This is what you choose. This is what is that you have right now, and try to stay in present. Stop, remember what you liked from before.
It seems to me, listening to you talking, the strength that you have in order to do that is because your new identity, let's say, is it's nurtured by this new job that you have that you really love, right? Is it possible, like this gives you the strength also to say, to kill the nostalgia snake?
Yeah, because the nostalgia comes from my family, from my idea of what a successful life it is. But I was feeling super happy here. But I cannot understand why, if you are happy, you are always nostalgic. Why, if you feel happy every morning that you go to your job, that you love what you do, you are in the nights when you come back home, you are continuously thinking on your previous life. So I was in two sides of the day. The day on what I was working, I was on my job, super happy, feeling full of what I was doing, teaching, cooking. But then when the night comes and when I was with myself, I was continuously comparing. And also, like, it's more like a woman culture or expectations, because in some point in my country, to have a marriage, to be a professional woman, have jobs, kids, family, it's like what makes you success. I was divorced, I was an immigrant, I don't have a family, don't have kids because I decided, for sure. But I was dealing with the idea, the cultural and social idea of what it have to be, and accept that I'm different. And as a woman, I've never had a strong desire of the maternity. And I find myself on my 40s, and everybody asking you, and do you have kids? You don't want to, and why
Oh,
you marry anymore? And it's like, to in some point you are dealing also with that part when you decide to be different, when you decide to have a different life. I was also dealing with that part, and I was thinking, oh, probably I should stay with my husband. I should have kids, and I was like trying to go back to that idea. But I was feeling happy, and I was finding myself happy.
I think people who want to change but eventually don't change, I think there's a social brainwash that our society tells us what to do, especially women who always has seemed to me they have to belong to something instead of having the life, be the master of their own domain. So we belong to husbands. We are in the position of mother, in the position of wife, in the position, and that's respectable. And then the moment you move away, and the moment you do something for yourself that makes you happy, society goes like, wait, what? What is she thinking with her own brain? How is it possible? It seems to me that you know yourself a lot to have been able to have been finding the courage to take this infrastructure and to push it away and to create your own path. It takes a lot of knowing yourself. I think it also takes a lot of courage. Do you feel stronger now because of this? I feel like every time you do, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel super strong right now. Now, when I have a problem, or when I feel sad, or when I'm afraid of something, because we are dealing with fears for sure, I remind myself that I start a new life from zero. And I always remind myself that, and I say, well, if everything goes bad, remember, Joyce, that you can start from zero again. So that's an idea that makes me feel stronger and makes me remind myself that I'm a strong person. When you are apart or away from your family, you have a lot of loneliness moments. But what I learned, it was like to be with myself, okay, to have time with myself. So right now I'm feeling good with that part. But in the beginning, it's like to have a new year by yourself or friends that are also the family that you choose. It's like you miss your family and you have to deal with all those feelings. But I feel I see myself as a strong person.
Speaking of loneliness, so your main feeling of loneliness was to be away from your family. Do you have now, as you said, like a newfound family, like a chosen family that you can rely on?
I found like a friends circle that makes me feel in family right now. For sure, it's not the same, but this is the family that I choose. It makes me feel better. Recently, something happened is that my mother came to visit me. She didn't visit me since I decided to come to Spain. For a lot of reasons, because family reasons, but now this year she had the opportunity to visit me. And it was really nice because when she came here, she told me, I never understood your decision, but now that I see your life, I feel identified with you. Now I can understand why you decide to stay. And for me, it was nice because because one of the person that I have to deal with in some point was my mother, and was to tell her that I decided not to get back anymore. And in addition, I decided to divorce. So now for me, it's like a relief that she understand it. As well as a woman, she understand my position and she understand why I decided. And now that she see me happy and that she see me in this life, she can identify herself on me, and I find that really nice.
That's beautiful. It's a closure almost, right? Because how many years ago did you leave Colombia?
7 years.
Oh, wow. 7 years is also a symbolic year. It means like
Yeah,
it means
it's a very symbolic name. Yeah.
something that is fascinating to me, the solitude, being alone, which it seems like to me it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's great that you have time to for yourself to be with you and understanding you better, and then kind of also have some quiet time. On the other, it in it implies the worst part of solitude, which is to be alone, loneliness. So was that the most difficult part of you moving here, or it was learning Catalan and thinking in a different language? Which ones were the difficulties once you decided to stick to Sant Pol de Mar?
One of the most difficult part it was that when I decided to stay in Spain, generally speaking, because I didn't know that it will be in Sant Pol de Mar, you don't have like a, as I mentioned, a straight way, because I arrived here as a student, and it is supposed that I have a visa for a period of time uh, as a student. I didn't know how to stay because I didn't have a work. I just had some small savings, and that's all basically. It was not something that is really clear from the beginning. And one part of what was more difficult for me was how to figure it, how to stay as a legal immigrant, because I have something clear in that moment is that I don't want to stay here if I couldn't be in a legal situation. That part for me was super clear. I don't want to stay if I could not be in a legal situation. I don't want to find myself in an illegal situation in a country that I don't know without my family. But then I find a job, and that job helps me to follow all the process that I need to be a resident. But it's not like a straightway. It's not like, okay, I will stay and then tomorrow I will get my papers, I will get everything. The most difficult idea was to understand that I won't have a life anymore in Colombia. That part was very difficult because I was starting from zero, and part of me want to run to that life, but also I was building something new here. It's not a straight way, it's ups and downs, and one day you feel super sure of what you are doing, and one day you have doubts about everything. So that's the difficult part. And the other super difficult part is the identity. More than the loneliness is one part, but the identity is it was for me the most difficult part, that I did not recognize myself. I miss nothing from Colombia. I usually say that, but it's a lie. I miss my family, but I say that because it was my way to protect myself. I need to enjoy it. For example, let's talk in something really simple, and something that is really simple for me, that is the food. I do not miss Colombian food. Not because I don't like it. It's because I decided not to miss the food. Because if I'm thinking always on the food that I like from Colombia, I will never enjoy my time here. I will never enjoy when I go to eat something in a restaurant or whatever, because I'm always like engaged with the food of my country and thinking of what I've missed from there. So in some point, I have to stop missing, and that's what I say, to kill the nostalgia.
Wow. My God, I need to have you as as a person to tell me these things every day. It's amazing how you can do that, and it takes so much courage, because it seems like a natural instinct, right? To go back, as you said, it's a naturally you would go and think of the food you cannot have, the access to your family that you don't have anymore. But it takes a lot of courage to say no, I'm here. And so you don't even, like, for example, I know that food is your work now, so that
Yeah,
is particularly important. And it seems like your work, it's part of your identity. You recognize yourself in your work. You never cook Colombian food at home, for example?
for sure, yes. For example, in Colombia, when it's Christmas, we eat at home every day something that we call buñuelos. Buñuelos is like is a bowls that are deep fried that is made with corn and cheese. And always, when it's the first day of December, I cook buñuelos for me because I need to feel the Christmas at home. And I made a ritual as my ritual to feel that it's Christmas, the Christmas started, and that's what my mom do for us. And I really love that part. I found, for example, that when you have immigrant people, they are trying to show everybody their dishes, their culture, and that's really nice. But in some point, I changed that and I started to learn all what the culture have to give me. Okay, so I developed interest to understand the Catalan and the Spanish food. It's not that I don't like my food, for sure. I like to eat my food. And when I meet with Colombian friends, we usually cook Colombian food because it makes me feel at home. It's amazing. I really like it. I really like to read and to investigate about our products, our kitchen, where the things come.
That's great. So basically, it's more like a mental workout that you
Yeah.
do in order not to miss.
If the people from my country listen to me, they will kill me. But it's not about the. It's not about my culture. Yes, it's a mental training because in
Yeah.
some point you find yourself all the time with doubts, questioning yourself, the food, the culture, what I like from Colombia. I started to put it off, not permanently, but temporary, to help myself to adapt it and to stay and to be happy with the life that I decided to have. Well, now I have like more, let's say that the snake, I already control it. I feel like more sure about it. I feel I'm more sure about what I did. In this moment, I'm more sure about the decisions that I took. I find myself super happy with the decision that I took. It was not easy for me because I started to work in a profession where the people usually start to work very young, and I started late. So I find myself working with people that have a lot of years of experience working in a kitchen, and most of them men. And I find myself with no experience working in a full man team, so I have to adapt it. It was a challenge for sure, but then I have to say that they makes me feel comfortable, and I've been learning from my teammates.
Every time I hear a male environment and one woman only or a few women in there, I always picture tragic stories or very uncomfortable stories. But
Yeah,
it's
it's not easy to makes them respect you because unfortunately this is how the world function is changing for sure, but it's a change that is happening slowly, and it will take more generations to be better. And in the kitchen you have to be double good to be. In some point that part was not easy, but I prefer to stay positive, and I prefer to remember the people that makes me feel comfortable, that the man that wants to teach me, that wants to help me. But it's not an easy way. Three variables: the culture, different culture, also that I was not experienced person, and as well that I was a woman working in a man environment.
So you would define yourself like a late bloomer. You found what you wanted, but you found it later. You were so good, though. You were so good that they hired you right away in this place, even though you
Yes.
didn't have so much experience.
It was like a challenge for me. Okay, I have no experience. I have no way to change that. But what I can do is to read a lot, to learn a lot. So what I do was to focus on the theoretical part, read a lot, try to learn a lot, and this is in some point that makes me to feel like sure or more sure to face the situation.
You made this choice, a very strong choice, to try to look at the positive, which is not the way our brain works. Our brain works in a way that because we have inherited the Neanderthal brains, in which fears and pessimistic thoughts were the things that would save human beings, right? In an environment that was like dangerous. We are all, in general, human beings tend to focus on negatives. Nostalgia is one of them, and paranoia. Oh my God, things are
Paranoia,
going bad.
yes. I'm trying to change
Amazing.
the term paranoia for pronoia is the opposite. Paranoia makes you believe that all that occur is to help you. I recently introduced this new concept in my life. Try to see that all what is happening around me is to it's better for me, is to makes me better, is to help me to be better. Another thing that helped me a lot, it was I start training myself physically. I mean, doing weights. I find that when I was feeling bad, when I was having like a bucle, like a bad thinking, going to my body, do something for my body, helps me to come to present. Because sometimes I'm in the future and sometimes I'm in the past. So when I find myself in that point, I do training. I go out for a walk. I cook. I use my hands. Okay, go to my body helps me to go out from my mind, to control my mind. Because usually when you are in a loop, in a mental loop, what you do is to stay in bed, following the mental loop. So I find that to go to my body makes me goes out from the mental loop. So right now it's like a training for me. If I find myself that I get into a mental loop, then I do training. I go outside. I take a walk. I go to eat an ice cream. I prepare a good food. It's like going to the physically part to stay in present. Make one activity that makes you feel in present again. What I do is to try to find tools to make me feel better, train my mind to be better. It's like when I was sad, trying to go to my body. If I'm in my mental loop, trying to go to my body always, to use my hands, to paint, to write something. It's just to feel myself in present.
So this is it for you, right? It's cooking and being a teacher. Don't envision any other career for you. You got it. You found it, right?
Yeah, I found it. I think I found it. My students are very young, what makes me feel like updated. So it's really nice for me because when you work with young people, you are always updated. You have like
It's
the
true.
last software available. So that interactions made me feel super happy to have like my two passions together, like because when you're a teacher, usually you go out of the fires in the kitchen because you are more in a classroom. But the way how we teach is in the practicing. It's a practical way, so I'm always on the fire. So I really like it.
You said so many really wise things. But do you have like something that you repeat yourself, or a quote from something else that you read?
I like the beach a lot. I like to see the sea. So when I worry, stress, I'll go to the sea and I say in Spanish, pequeños son mis problemas. How small are my problems? And when I see the sea, I think about it. I see how small are my problems. Sometimes you are seeing your problems super big. So I always that I have problem, I go in front of the sea and I say myself, pequeños son mis problemas. How small are my problems? It's like, because the world is so huge and you are sometimes are watching small things very big to see how big is the sea in front of me. So that reminds me that all is small.
This conversation has opened so many doors in my brain. You're such a brave, strong woman. I love talking to you. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add that I didn't ask you or that you wanted to say?
Well, in that process, I want to say that it was good for me to start therapy as well. I start therapy with one person that is also immigrant. So she also suffered the same in some point of her life. So that's her specialty. So therapy was something that I never tried before in my life. Right now, we are getting conscious about the mental health. It was something that I never tried before in my life. So it helped me. So I think that all of us, we need in some point of our life therapy. It was really important. Another thing is that in that change of life, I think that I started to appreciate small things. Before, for me, like to have a car, to have a great house, to have the better restaurants, it was like a successful life. Right now, for me, like to have time to take a walk on the beach, to drink a cup of wine, to eat something delicious, just to breathe the fresh air in the beach, or free time to clean my home, to do small things. It's like you have to try to get back to the small thing in some point. Because sometimes we are full of a world that is selling ideas of what a good life is. And sometimes we need to get back to basics. For me right now, my idea of a good life is to have time. And yeah, it's like a things that no one appreciate as a good things. And to have time is super important. Time and health, that is like is something that is not something that you cannot perceive easily. Okay, because we think that we will have a lot of time, but you don't have what time do you have. So each time you have, it's amazing, and you have to enjoy it. So I started to, during this process, to appreciate my time.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Joyce, for this. Reset Stories is a podcast created by Dea Ex Machina, produced by Cristina Rambaldi, hosted by Marta Mondelli. Intro music by Fabio Antonelli. You can hear the audio episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us here, and if you like what we do, rate and review us. Help us grow. If you want to be in touch, send us comments here and messages at our Instagram page at Reset Stories Podcast, or email us at info@deaexmachina.it.